For years and years, my sons and I would come out here to the Anza Borrego Desert and ride dirt bikes and ATVs, but I've never had the opportunity to drive a side-by-side off-road. And the folks at Polaris sent me out this Polaris General XP 1000 Trailhead Edition. And today in this video, I'm going to take you on a tour. We're going to take a look at all the specs on this thing, and then I'm going to get out and drive it and give you my impressions on what it's like to drive a side-by-side for the very first time. This is going to be a lot of fun today. Stay tuned. Welcome to Trail Recon, I'm Brad, and that's right, I have never driven a side-by-side off-road, and today is going to be the very first time. I'm really excited about this. Now, there are many ways to get out and have some awesome adventures, and the Jeep is still going to be the primary way we do it, and the Power Wagon and a bunch of other vehicles out there. This is not going to become the primary target here on Trail Recon. I think it's fun though to explore different ways to go out and have some adventures with friends and family, and so this is a great option. Now I'm going to do some more stuff with this side-by-side on the other YouTube channel, Unlimited Recon, and I'll leave a link down below if you want to follow along on that. But today what I wanted to do was just introduce you to this side-by-side, show you all the really cool features that are on this thing. Unbelievable what's on these things these days, and then go drive it for the first time and share my experiences with it. I'm gonna have fun, and I think you guys are gonna have fun hanging out with me today. So let's get this thing off the trailer, take a look at it, and then we'll go hit the dirt. I mentioned this is the Trailhead Edition, and so this one has some very specific features to it, starting with the graphics, which I love. That dark metallic blue with the burnt orange stripes and suspension color, and the seats tie into that, and then you've got some topo decals. I think it looks really good. Now this is the 4-door model, which is going to allow me to maybe bring my sons with me, or if we just want to throw some more gear in there, that'll be great. And then there is a bed on the back, which we'll talk about, and then you've got a full covered top, so you're not getting beat up by the sun all day. All right, let's jump in the front. We're going to work our way from front to rear and talk about all the features on this Polaris General. All right, starting off with just some of the general specifications of this guy. It is 64 inches wide, it's 150 inches long, but the wheelbase is 115 inches, and it weighs just over 2,100 pounds, so it's pretty light and nimble. This is gonna be fun to get out here on the trails. Ground clearance, 13.5 inches, and we'll talk a little bit about suspension and tires here in a minute, but up front here you've got this really heavy-duty bull bar, which has some mounts for some external lights or an antenna or some whip antennas if you need, but it does come with an 11-inch light bar, and there's a 4,500-pound winch right there, which comes standard with this thing. So look, I don't plan on getting stuck, but we might come across somebody else that's getting stuck out there. It does have a front and rear facing camera. That's right, a side-by-side that's got a front and rear camera. That's pretty cool. Has full LED lights up here and just looks aggressive from the front. I really love the look of this thing as it's coming down the trail. Okay, let's go to the side. Let's talk about wheels and tires and suspension, and then we will hop to the back and I'll show you some of the utility of this guy. Okay, right from the factory we get a 30 by 10 inch tire on a 15-inch rim. That's a lot of tire right from the factory, but you can go a little bit bigger with just some slight modifications to this vehicle. Now, it's got some Walker Evans shocks back here with a long travel system, 14 inches of wheel travel. I think we're going to get on it and see how well that does, especially on some of the whoops a little bit. I plan on getting after it a little bit. It does have some nice aggressive fenders, so we shouldn't be throwing rocks up at ourselves, which should be perfect. And then if you look down the side, there's no rock rails, but there are mounting points for some rock rails, and I think that might be a great future upgrade. This has some pretty aggressive styling to it, which I really like, but I think it's going to be fun to test out this suspension. Now on the back side of the General is where your utility feature comes into play. And back here we have a very large bed with some tie downs, and we've got this adventure rack on here. And the cool thing about the bed is it allows you to carry up to 600 pounds worth of gear. That's a lot of payload capacity. I can't imagine putting that much gear back here, but it will be nice to be able to throw, you know, maybe a day trip's worth of camping gear, food, maybe a cooler or fridge back here for 2 people and go have a great adventure and not have to worry about storage space. And this adventure rack is on these quick releases, so if you want to take this on or off, that's very easy to do. But I like the fact that it's got kind of this Molly-ish style panel where we can mount some maybe fuel cans, a shovel, maybe some max tracks, whatever we needed for recovery or extra fuel, water, whatever. So I think this will be a very nice feature coming forward. And then to open the truck bed and dump it, it's super easy. It's one-handed, it lifts, it's on shocks, no problem. Behind there, that's where our 999cc engine is that's putting out 100 horsepower. And I'm excited to see what we can do with that 100 horsepower here soon. As soon as we're done filming this, I can't tell you how excited I am to get this out on the trail. So we close that up. Down below, again, we have the long travel system back here. There is a tow hitch receiver back there, so you can tow, I think it's up to 1,500 pounds. So if you wanted a small utility trailer or something, you can definitely use that. And then the truck bed back here, again, very easy to use. And if you wanted to cook back here or whatnot, just a place to sit, this is pretty sweet. So that's it for the outside. Let's hop on the interior and talk about some of those cool features. All right, on the interior of the Polaris General, we'll start off with these very nice sturdy half doors, and the one here opens standard, but the one on the rear opens suicide. And so these doors are really nice. Now there are some options for some full-size doors, or you can get a soft half door to cover this up and some windshields. You know, if you're not one that want to have that dust blowing in you all the time, there's some options there to kind of enclose this in. Now on the inside, you have some very nice, comfortable seats, got some good bolstering, and we have just a standard seatbelt here. It's not like a full harness, but you can install one of those if you wanted to. The interior is nicely laid out and very well equipped. We'll start off with the dash, which has your speed and your RPMs, and in the center is a little digital display which gives you a lot of different readings. And then over here we have a very nice display. We've got their Polaris Ride command system, which allows you to see all kinds of trail options. But what I think is really cool, and we're gonna test out today with my buddy Josh, who's here in his Polaris RZR, is you can track other friends and see where they're at in your vicinity. That should be pretty cool. And there's a lot of other nice features to give you some telemetry on how things are operating. And what's really cool with this edition is it's got the Rockford Fosgate stereo system. And I would love to let you hear how awesome it sounds, but the YouTube copyright gods would have a field day with me. So I can't do that, but you're just gonna have to take my word that the sound system in here is spot on. Over on here, there's a couple switches, one for your headlights and your brights. The other one gives you 3 modes for your transfer case. So you can have just the right rear tire activated, and that's way if you're like on the grass or you're somewhere where you don't want to tear things up, it will just power everything through a single tire. Then you have rear wheel drive, and then you have 4-wheel drive. And those are easy to switch through on those switches over here. And then on the other side, you have your in and out for your winch and for the light bar. And you'll see there's a bunch of blanks, and that means we can install more lights, maybe a chase bar in the back, some more lights in the front. There is an option to put a heater in here, so if you are somewhere in the cold weather, you could put a heater in here. Lots of options for adding extra accessories. I like the fact that they thought that out a little bit. There's a nice rearview mirror here, and there is actually quite a bit of storage inside here. We've got 2 cup holders. There's plenty of space to store things, a little glove box, plenty of spaces in the dash, and you can get some bag options as well to store some stuff. And then in the rear, I've sat in the rear, there's plenty of room in there. The same exact seats that are in the front, and you've got lots of leg room. So I think if me and my 3 boys went for a ride and we were cycling through, we're all over 6 feet tall, none of us would have a problem riding in the back there. So I do like this roof. That's keeping the sun off us right now because it's beating down a little bit today. Okay, I think we've covered all the highlights. Now it's time to get out and play with this. Now I gotta find my buddy Josh because he already took off, and then we're gonna go hit the trail and have some fun in this guy. Driving the Polaris General is such a great experience. The first thing I noticed right away was how unbelievably smooth it is through the whoops and rough terrain. I admittedly assumed it would be only average since it's not the RZR model, but I had no problems increasing speed and allowing the suspension to soak up the terrain. The steering felt tight and responsive, the acceleration was strong, and the seats were pretty comfortable. Although at some of the high speeds we were doing, it did cross my mind that maybe a full harness would probably be better. I think I maxed out on a flat section at about 69 miles an hour. And although my buddy Josh, who admittedly had more horsepower in his two-seat Razor Turbo S and more suspension travel, I really didn't have too much difficulty keeping up with him. I mean, sure, he was faster coming out of the corners and through some of the deep whoops and blew past me on the open terrain, but when we were in both tight sections in technical areas, we both maintained a pretty similar pace. We did put in over 50 miles on the day, and because of the dust, we had to keep our distance, but the Polaris Ride Command system allowed us to see where each other was, and it's something that I really liked. I think that would be a cool feature if there was a way to put that in my Jeep. Now, I didn't do a good job of filming it, but let me tell you, the system works really great, and when we were not able to see each other, no line of sight, having that system made it really easy to see if somebody turned off and be able to continue following. Unlike riding a motorcycle or an ATV, you feel a bit more secure and comfortable with increased speed in the side-by-side. I really did enjoy the full open air experience, but a front windshield would have been nice when I was following a little bit too close. I love driving my Jeep, but I could never imagine bombing through the desert the way I did in this today. I honestly felt at times like I was a Baja racer, and I was loving it. I'm not an adrenaline junkie, and I love to cruise through the mountains and enjoy the scenery, which I think this would be a great vehicle to do as well. But man, today was a ton of fun getting after it out here in the desert. I look forward to testing this out on some other types of terrain in the future. I have been smiling all day. What a blast we've been having out here, and I had no idea just how capable this thing is. In the whoops, that suspension is crazy comfortable. It's so dialed. I haven't even come close to pushing the limits that this thing is capable of. I'm excited to get out and have some more adventures like this. Now today we did a lot of high-speed fun and just had a blast out here exploring, but I'm looking forward to kind of getting up in the mountains a little bit, do some nice casual exploring, checking out some scenic stuff. If you'd like to see more videos on this Polaris General, make sure you head over to Unlimited Recon, where we're going to be doing some more stuff with this in the future. I hope you've enjoyed hanging out with me and just enjoying the desert today. Thanks for watching.